We recently discovered that a couple of ringtails have been using the gate across our driveway for agility training. And if you happen to be familiar with dog agility, you'll know about the weave poles and you'll recognize what this little baby ringtail is doing. It's doing the weaves. And it's pretty funny to see it do it. It's lately kind of graduating out of weaving. When it's young, it can fit between the bars and do the weaves. But as it's grown a little bit older and a little more mature and a little more skillful, like mom there, then it's learning to walk up on top of the sharp tips up on top of the gate there. When I said a moment ago that they are using the gate for agility training, here's why we think that. Watch the two ringtails there on the upper right part of the gate, and they're both going to come down to the ground instead of coming across the gate, and they're going to wander around on the driveway for a little bit there. And it's obvious that they could get across the driveway by walking across it, or they can go do their agility training and go back up to the top and cross the driveway in the proper fashion, which is to go across the top of the gate. So once we saw that happening, it truly seems that mom is using this gate for an agility training ground when she could just walk across the driveway with the little one. Here, you can see the little guy is having some difficulty getting across, not falling off. And so at this age right here, which was a couple of weeks ago, it was still small enough that it could do the weaving, but it's really, as it's grown here, just in the last week or so, it's gotten to where it's having difficulty weaving through there. And what we found as to where they're actually going, they go back and forth here, and they're going up to this gigantic live oak tree and climbing around in it at night. And then they'll go back home at about an hour before daylight. So up in this tall tree here, we'll see mom and the little guy getting going in there, and at times they're just flying through the trees. We're looking kind of straight down to the ground in this camera view here, and they saw something, and the little one's kind of imitating mom there, but they'll race around in the this probably, I don't know, 15 feet off the ground, something like that. But they'll get to racing around here, and again, it seems like a lot of it is just training for, here's how you do this. You go flying through the trees, and you get really good at it. And then when you're chasing somebody, you can catch them. These guys are terribly efficient hunters for rats and little things like that, baby animals of various types, baby birds, baby squirrels, and that kind of thing. But they're very, very good at it. Well, here in this next clip, we'll see what I'm thinking is sort of a transitional phase as the little one who's trailing behind mom there is beginning to get pretty good at this. And instead of weaving through the bars there, is going to do like mom and try and walk across the top. And it quickly finds that these pointy tops that I'll show you in a second on top of the gate, they're pretty, they're not sharp, but they're definitely pointed. So there goes the little one, and it's about to catch up with mom, and here's a view of what just the tops at the gate look like. And mom is actually walking right up on tip top of those points, and the little one is beginning to do the same thing. There it goes. It's trailing right behind mom. It's doing a great job. And you'll see that after a while it decides that, wow, these things are really hurting my feet, and this isn't that great of an idea. I think I'll weave the last little section here before we get to the end. Well, here's a last view of them here that they go across, and there goes mom leading the way, and the little guy has finally mastered it. This was like yesterday, and seems to have really gotten the hang of it. So I suspect that it'll stay up on top. Well, somehow the squirrels have gotten the same idea, and they use a completely different technique. Instead of dog agility style, they do it bunny hop style. If you watch there, it's hopping from one set to the next. I'll show you a close up in just a second. But first, here comes the youngster who's going to try and imitate mom with a little high speed bunny hop, and then let's just take off across the top and go. So here's mom with a slow motion close up, and you see it's truly sort of a little slow motion bunny hop. But it works so that she's not up on top of the tips of those sharp things. So in this last segment, we'll see that mom's got a pretty nice bunny hop going, and coming up behind her here, the baby hadn't quite mastered the bunny hop, but it's got a pretty good freestyle working for it that it can just race across the top. One thing I've seen in sporting events is that when the cameramen get bored, they'll sometimes start filming the spectators of the cute young things they see there, and actually had a little opportunity myself there. This cardinal was waiting for the squirrels to get it going again.